The sun rose slow on a broken town. Factories closed, machines shut down. Promises made, but none were kept. Dreams turned to dust while the people wept. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. The tariffs came, they hit like a storm. Families braced to keep their homes warm. A pause was given, a moment to act, but the time was wasted, that's a hard fact. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. Leaders spoke with words so grand, but their hollow deeds we can't withstand. The people begged, the people cried. Now hope's a stranger on this side. Misery's knocking, poverty's near, a future clouded by doubt and fear. If only they'd fought to make things right, we wouldn't be lost in this endless night.
Actress Sydney Sweeney came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican. Any thoughts on that?
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney. She's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I gave up on denim, thought it was dead, but Sydney's jeans turned my head. Faded blue with a reckless vibe, like a memory I can't untie. Sydney's jeans so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. So fine, they tell a tale. Every rip's a story, every stitch a sail. She walks the streets, she owns the scene. I'm chasing dreams in Sydney's jeans. They bring the past into the now. I'm sold, I'm hooked, I don't know how. Sydney's jeans so hot, so cool, reflection on my thighs, wearing the stars under open skies. Sydney's vibe is the fire I crave, denim dreams that can't behave. Sydney's jeans so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. Sydney's jeans so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. Sydney's jeans.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Welcome back to all the Neanderthals on the left, the canines in the center, right-wing podcasters over there on that side. On the right-hand side, the aspiring car guards located everywhere throughout the stadium, the arena. Welcome back to the program. Diane said, anyone seen Beyonce's jeans lately? Copycat. Well, I could take that and say, has anyone seen Brooke Shields' Nothing Comes Between Me and My Calvin Kleins? That's the original. That's the original. So Beyonce's copycat of Brooke Shields, if we're going to play that game. No, that's the original campaign. Yeah, I need my pair. I want them now. American Eagle, show me how. Damn, Sydney Sweeney is lighting it up, and the Trumpster is trolling left and right. This is brilliant. Nice little distraction from all the events and nonsense going on around us each and every day, folks. The smear campaign is in high gear against Emma Powell, a member of the Democratic Alliance. I did a video on that earlier, talked about this story previously. Now the government of South Africa has had to admit that they lied. They lied, and we've caught them in another lie. They lie about police reports on farm murders. They lie about many, many, many other things. So let's say hello to everybody. Arctic is upset because he gets paid in dollars and the exchange rate's going against him somehow. Sorry to hear that. Lots of chat here before we got started, and a few minutes since we got started. Welcome back to everybody. Be sure to hit that like button. 573 people here, but just 226 likes. Something wrong with that picture.
That was easy.
Hit the button, folks. All right. Another busy day. Busy making content, up late, up early. It just never ends. Welcome to everybody. We're going to get into some news here because I've got quite a few news stories from Russia to Gaza to South Africa to the U.S. It's all over the place, man. Sydney's jeans. Yes, that's right. Loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. Stan Sam, Corey, says Rex. Natural beauty. Nitona Gimri. What's wrong? Is somebody upset about Sydney? No. I don't think I look great in a Sydney. I used to look great in jeans. Yeah, got the bum for it, but I don't look so great now. Anyway, thank you all very much. Yep, no choppy, no bry. No money, no fry. No woman, no cry. No. Okay, Bach and Terry, thank you for sharing that. All right. Neanderthal Stewart greeting. All right, Joan Stewart, welcome to you. Napoleon Dynamite, now he's all chilled. Now he's not going to troll anymore because he got his email. Congratulations. Yes. They keep coming left and right, don't they, folks? By the way, I need to address something very quickly here because it came up in last night's chat, and I made a video about it this morning. So that woman who claims to help asylum seekers from South Africa, I'm not sure why. It's her personal interest, and that's her prerogative. She lied about me previously and misstated things I said. And I did a video refuting what she said without doxing her and without mentioning her name so as not to bring her any harm. Then she made a video in which she stole my content, put it on the screen, and then lied about me again and distorted the facts and doxed herself and then accused me of attacking a woman. I didn't attack her. She's a liar. So I haven't done anything with her recently. Someone reached out to me recently and said that she had contacted them and asked for my phone number about something I'd said. She wanted to work with me or come on the program. I just ignored that because the person slandered me, and I really don't want to get involved with the person that's doing that, and never got an apology from her. If she gave me an apology, it'd be a different story. So yesterday, one of my viewers sent a screen capture, and the screen capture took from my Sunday Refugee Cafe Clutch, took that and clipped 55 seconds and said I'm spreading misinformation again, which again, once again, is a lie. And the topic we're talking about specifically is birth certificates. Now, when this thing came up, I never heard of an unabridged birth certificate. I made that clear from the beginning. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. You're exasperating me. Who makes a birth certificate with only partial information? It doesn't make any sense. We don't do that in America. Every state issues its own birth certificates, and the State Department will issue a certificate of live birth to an American born of American parents overseas. But we don't have these unabridged and abridged birth certificates. That doesn't make sense. So you all sorted that out and said, this is what it is, this is what it is, fine. And we heard from those who got PRM emails and interviews, and I spoke to people in person in South Africa who went to PRM, as well as talking to them over WhatsApp and telephone calls. And repeatedly it was told that you have to have a birth certificate because you needed to apply for permanent residency for your green card and to be naturalized later on. Of course, that raised a question. Some people were born in places like Katanga or, Stanleyville in Belgian Congo. There are no birth certificates. In Northern Rhodesia, there are no birth certificates. What do? I said at the time, and I continue to say, that there are always exceptions to every rule. So in the course of my conversation, when the birth certificates thing came up, I said, well, you got to have one, because that's what they said. So this lady went on her Facebook group and lied about me again and said that I said you have to have a birth certificate. Took things out of context. So I made a video this morning explaining you do need a birth certificate. And let me explain this. People come from places where it's impossible to get a birth certificate. There are exceptions. You can have other documentation, but you're expected to have a birth certificate. In the case of South Africa, where the government issues birth certificates, if you're a refugee coming from South Africa, you will be expected to have made a good faith effort to have gotten a birth certificate. If you don't, you're going to have problems. Now, I received a message from someone in the 59ers group said they didn't even ask that person for a birth certificate. But I'm here to tell you, my friend, that others in the 59 were asked for the birth certificate and told they needed. So I don't know why you weren't asked for one or why I'd let you come over. There's always exceptions and people slip through the cracks, but the rule, and as I went and found on the internet, very simple search, took me right to United States Customs and Immigration Services, to their manual on how you do it, right there, birth certificate required. However, they recognize that sometimes it's not possible. But if you have a country, like you come from Germany, and you don't come with a birth certificate and you want to be naturalized, it ain't going to happen. It's a real government with a real system that produces real documents, and therefore you must make a genuine effort to prove your provenance, where you come from. All right? So I hope that puts that to bed, but I doubt it because this woman is off her rocker. She's off her rocker. Charles said, they said we need an unabridged birth certificate for green card. That's right, Charles. And she called me a liar and said I'm spreading misinformation. The woman needs to seek care. She really has an issue. I don't know if she wants to date me. I'm not interested. Sorry. She can sue me all she wants. She's slandering me. How can she sue me for slandering me? She's calling me a liar. She's calling me a liar. She's the one attacking me. She's slandering me. If anyone has a case, it'd be me. It'd be me. They didn't ask for kids' birth certificates when we left our Tamil money, just passports, and all the officials were super friendly. Thank you, Arctic. Thank you for sharing that, because that's the thing. South Africans aren't required, apparently, to show the birth certificates to their kids to take them out of the country. But when people bring kids in the country, they have to show it. The U.S. doesn't require a birth certificate. A passport is proof of who you are. Good evening. We have done our passport certificates and now busy with pet lifts so that we don't leave our small... All right, there you go, Avi. That's good to hear. All right, got a screen grab from WhatsApp group where she claims you do not need one. Well, Sona Bloom, people can believe whatever they want, and when they can't get permanent residency and they lose refugee status or whatever happens to them, then that's on them. That's on them. And if you don't believe me, you can simply ask when you get interviewed, do I need a birth certificate and what do I need it for? It's pretty simple. You know why this woman turns this into some big fanfare? It's not. Quite simply, ask the question. Charles, undisclosed location for birthdays. All right. Okay. I'm old, so my birth certificate is written in hieroglyphics, says Nick. That's possible. Yeah, well, leave that person, but there are 7,500 people in that group. That means an awful lot of people are listening to an awful lot of fake stuff. Waiting 12 weeks for an unabridged birth certificate, going to tomorrow to find out what's happening. Candace, that's not unusual. 12 weeks. It takes up to a year a lot of times. Okay? All right. Let's get on with it. News time, folks. Enough of this nonsense. Which one do I have here? Okay, there it is. Okay. Right. Well, first off, the smear campaign against Emma Powell, the misuse of government intelligence services to spy on a sitting member of parliament on a flimsy, illegitimate basis of a false claim with no evidence to support it whatsoever. This sounds an awful lot like Carter Page and the FISA warrant got by Peter Strzok to spy on the Trump campaign. But we're not talking about Trump and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Brennan and all the criminals that attacked Donald Trump and his acolytes. We're talking about South Africa and the illegitimate use of intelligence services to investigate a member of parliament adhering to the rule of law, exercising our constitutionally protected rights under South Africa's constitution, which clearly aren't protected, because the government agencies are spying on her with no warrant and no basis to do it whatsoever. This is a smear job of epic proportions, and it is unbelievable, except that it is believable. Well, now the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Durko, Ronnie Lamola, admits that Nkabisi Jonas never went to the States. Never went. Nkabisi Jonas, special envoy to the U.S., not so special, not an envoy, has not traveled there since his appointment on April 14th, says International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronnie Lamola. Now, the DA criticized Jonas's absence amid strained relations, and the presidency defended Jonas, citing his behind-the-scenes work on trade and diplomacy. Well, you are not an envoy if you're simply behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. If you are behind the scenes, you are not an envoy. You must envoy. You must engage with the organization, with the activity, with the nation, the international organization that you are accredited to. Mr. Jonas is not accredited, and Emma Powell broke that story. A story that the government of South Africa covered up from everybody since May, June, July, August. For 3 months, they gaslit you and said that he's a special envoy to the United States. When they were caught in June by a simple question from a media, well, if he's a special envoy, why wasn't he at the White House? They lied again. And that's when Ramaphosa changed his title to he's a special envoy for North America. Except he also didn't go to Canada for the G20 conference that took place there. So one lie after another. Now Ronnie Lamola has to tell the truth that he never went to the States, which is what Emma Powell told us. And I have here in front of myself the response from the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation. The publication date is 18 July, and the reply date to the question that Emma Powell posed was 1 August. There is the letter. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the letter. Ms. Powell asked the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation whether he'll furnish her with a complete list of all the travel to the United States undertaken by Presidential Special Envoy Jonas, including schedules, meeting schedules, cost of travel, and travel dates. If not, why not in each case? And if so, what are the relevant details in each case? And here's a case number for it, the submission, the request. The reply from Ronnie Lamola: the special envoy is yet to travel to the U.S. on official business. However, it must be noted that the sensitive and confidential work of the special envoy is never publicized. Well, sharing it with members of parliament isn't publicizing it. You can share it in chamber, in camera. So there we have the admission that he is not really a special envoy. He's not saying that, but that's the bottom line. Eric is saying he needed his birth certificate out, but they're saying Arctic left with his kids under 16. They didn't ask for it. So it's hit or miss. The requirement is that, but that doesn't mean they're going to make you do it every time. Yes, you need your marriage certificates and your divorce certificates as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so that's the story there. Well, Emma Powell has got them. They got their knickers in a twist. She's really got them swinging 2 different ways this Sunday. She's rattling the Democratic Alliance and the intelligence services. Why? Because Emma Powell is doing something shocking. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to break this story here. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Get ready for this. This is an exclusive disclosure. This is a breaking story. I'm going to tell you something that you would never have expected. Emma Powell, a member of the Democratic Alliance, a politician, has the Democratic Alliance rattled and the intelligence service rattled for the following. You know what it is? Emma Powell told the truth. Huh? No. She told the truth? Oh my gosh, we can't have that. We can't have a politician telling the truth. You can't run off to America and tell the truth. My goodness, that's treason. That's just treason. You can't tell the truth. You know why? Do you know why you can't tell the truth? Because you can't handle the truth. You heard it here first. Emma Powell told the truth. And for that, she's become the target illegitimately, illegally, unconstitutionally of South Africa's intelligence services operating without a warrant, without a justification for a warrant. Spying on a member of parliament. Hey. And you guys worry about your WhatsApps. Imagine that. Telling the truth. No, what an evildoer. What a horrible person. Yeah, she's dumb. She should never have told the truth. Yes. Well, I have bad news, folks. I have bad news. They claim it's unrelated to the tariffs, but that's BS. Maersk, the world's largest shipping company, has cut the number of cargo ships to the East Coast of the United States in half. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. Maersk move will leave South Africa with single direct U.S. East Coast shipping line. Big change for direct shipments between South Africa and the U.S. comes in October. Maersk will no longer be offering direct shipments between the countries. The route is a vital connection that has helped South Africa get products to the U.S., but no longer. So Maersk, because South Africa has no shipping of note, because South Africa is a failed state, it doesn't have its own shipping of note, no large container ships can do this. Now, you won't even be able to get your products to America, whether there's tariffs or not. They're going to have to go to Europe. And if it's cut flowers, they're going to be dead by the time they get there. And if it's fresh fruit, it's going to be rotten by the time it gets there. Darlene, thank you for the super stick chat. Emma from Bass USA. That'd be a good pick. Good pick. Yeah, not a bad pick at all. Not going to happen, but not a bad pick. Yeah. So, in 2 months, Maersk, one of the world's largest is the largest container shipping company in the world, will phase out its Amex service, which transported goods from South Africa directly to the East Coast of the United States. They're transitioning to a transshipment solution where cargo from South Africa must first travel through European hubs before crossing the Atlantic, which will delay arrival time and complicate exports to the United States. So it's not just Trump who's undermining your trade, it's Maersk. And why is that? Because South Africa doesn't have any shipping of its own. No note. Nothing worth doing. My goodness. Well, South Africa's government has dismissed the report that doesn't exist. I've covered this, and not a lot of people watch it. I did a short on it. Then I did a short on it live when the story broke, and then I did a video analyzing it later on. And then that was in response to News 24, which got the story partially correct. So the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, DLR, which is a bureau in the State Department, sent representatives to South Africa to investigate farm murders and rural insecurity. When they came back to the States, they took the highly unprecedented step of mentioning what they discovered and posted several tweets with subtweets on X. In response, AfriForum said we're thrilled with this report that they published. Well, there was no report. That's simply statements on a social media account, not a report. But they're going back to the States. They're back in the States now. Normally, the normal course of events is they would do a trip report, which covers the cost of the trip, who went, what the goals were, what they discovered, what their outcomes are, and their analysis, as well as an executive summary explaining it. Also, normally, there will be a report published on this. These are the same people who do the human rights report for every country in the world every single year. I know them. I've worked with them. They're objective, whether they're politically left, politically right, in the center. They're objective and fair in their reporting. They've come to criticism in the past for countries whose feelings are hurt because they're deemed a human rights violator, but that's because those countries are human rights violators. But DLR wrote these things on Twitter, which is highly unusual, but it's not a report, and I said so. AfriForum jumped the gun. They were incorrect. And then after that, News 24 said it wasn't a report, and that was correct. But then they went steps further. There's no evidence. It's biased. It's okay. That's nonsense, too. So I did a video analyzing that. And then Ramaphosa has now responded to the report. There's no report. There's no report, folks. Ramaphosa is responding to a non-existent report. South African government dismisses U.S. State Department's report on farm attacks. Except Monyane, there is no report. Not publicly available. Presidency said U.S. findings that farm attacks are not ordinary crimes lacks credibility and has accused the country of ignoring reliable information in order to sustain a disinformation campaign against South Africa. To what end? See, this is the thing. To what end? Why does the United States need a disinformation campaign against South Africa? We can do what we want to South Africa with impunity. The South African government's complained about that. These unilateral tariffs are unfair. Well, we imposed them. Nothing you can do about it. We canceled Share Accord. We were paying for it. Nothing you can do about it. So why do we need to create disinformation? It just doesn't pass the smell test. It's not disinformation. The fact that your police cover up reports and lie about trespassing, breaking and entering, assault with a deadly weapon, assault and battery, attempted murder, and murder, 6 felonies. And the only thing on the report is house robbery, shows the cover-up underway. So those aren't reliable figures. Look at Cyril. He looks like he's smelling a turd. Look at that. Look at that face. That guy looks like he's got a turd under his nose. Yeah, and you know why? Because he knows he's right. Or he knows he's wrong, excuse me. He knows he's wrong. Well, this story doesn't make any sense to me. Can somebody make sense of this? Business Tech, a reliable publication, runs a story saying that trouble for U.S. brands in South Africa because of the tariffs. Why? Unless the U.S. brands are exporting all their profit back to the U.S. Are the McDonald's in South Africa sending all their profits to the U.S.? No, because Ramaphosa owns McDonald's. So KFC? No, local franchisees on it. So how is it a problem? The things that these stores use, if they're coming from the U.S., are not affected by tariffs. There are no tariffs on them. So I really don't understand this story. What are they talking about here? Nedbank Retail Services has warned that franchise business in South Africa will likely come under immense pressure after the U.S. imposed a 30% tariff on the country. This could be especially painful for U.S. brands like McDonald's, Burger King, and Starbucks, which rely on specialty imports from the United States to maintain their brand and quality. Yes. What kind of idiots are these? These are financial advisors, Nedbank Retail Services. Imports to South Africa are not affected. There's no impact. South Africa has not imposed tariffs beyond what's already there. How does 30% tariffs have anything to do with it? What the hell is going on here? I'm going to have to do a video on this story because I don't understand. Maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe I'm a stupid one. Maybe I don't understand it. But the story doesn't explain how things imported from America, which are not affected by the tariffs, are going to be difficult. Is there going to be protest against American brands? Will people stop shopping in American brands? I mean, that's possible, but that's not what they claim. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Well, Paul Mashatile and Simelane were removed from the ANC National Executive Committee's meeting amid an Integrity Commission probe. Mashatile will not be the next president of South Africa. Ibrahim, yes, he has shares in McDonald's South Africa. Deputy President Paul Mashatile and Justice Minister Themba Simelane were removed from the meeting. Wow. For more than an hour and a half when the party's Integrity Commission, led by Reverend Frank Chikane, began its presentation about their cases. Well, that makes sense. Corruption allegations that 2 senior officials have led the Integrity Commission to call them to account. City Press understands after a lengthy presentation, the 2 were called back into the meeting. Insiders say the NEC will discuss the presentations yesterday. Wow. Ejected from the meeting. Well, not really. You can't be there when discussing evidence against you, or allegations. The African National Congress sounds the warning to the South African Communist Party. The tripartite evil alliance is falling apart, folks. It nearly fell apart under Zuma. Now, Ramaphosa is causing the collapse of the tripartite alliance. And it's good for South Africa. The evil tripartite alliance of COSATU, the South African Communist Party, and the ANC is breaking apart. And that's good for South Africans. South African Communist Party intends to run the municipal elections to run communists for office. And I encourage all communists to vote for them so we can show just how many of you clowns are out there. The decision contests polls independently has the fundamental implications for the National Democratic Revolution and the Tripartite Alliance. I'm sorry, Cyril. It's all falling apart. The man who destroyed the ANC. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to Sher Kinnikor Theaters in spring 2026. The man who destroyed the ANC. The life and times of one Cyril Ramaphosa. The poser, the hippopotami. The man who destroyed the ANC. A storied history of the African National Congress dating back to when it was a very different name in 1912. And in short order, this man, the man who inherited shares of McDonald's. Cyril, the non-businessman. Cyril the Waffle Man. Cyril the Waffle Man destroyed the African National Congress. Come to Sher Kinnikor in spring 2026. Yep. At a theater near you. No hippopotami were harmed in the filming of this movie. Ramaphosa is warning that this split is bad news for the ANC. Look at him up there. Oh, look at that cool scarf, man, in a sweater. Looking all calm and chilled. The ANC and its alliance partner, the South African Communist Party, are set to return to the negotiating table to deliberate on the Communist Party's decision to contest the elections. Scams, folks. Be careful. FNB has sent customers warnings about AI being used to trick you out of your money. In a mobile app notification this past weekend, First National Bank warned that cyber criminals were employing AI-generated voice, video, or text to impersonate trusted sources like bank staff or even family members. They use these tools to trick South Africans into sharing personal or payment information or to transfer money into the criminals' accounts. In some cases, scams can be incredibly sophisticated, leveraging deepfakes, voice synthesis, and automated chatbots to appear more legitimate. As a result, the losses can be substantial, and some victims may lose millions before realizing they've been scammed. Yep. Absolutely. Well, the ANC is fed up with the Democratic Alliance, and they want to make the coalition even more unmanageable by inviting Action SA and the National Color Congress, Fidel Adams, into the coalition. To what end? To what end? Despite tensions, the ANC's NEC will not expel the DA from the government. Okay, excuse me. Again, you morons. The ANC cannot evict the DA. The agreement is between the DA and the ANC. They can't kick each other out. One can leave of their own volition, but they can't kick each other out. The ANC violated the terms of the agreement by inviting the other 8 parties into it. And now they want to invite 2 more? This is beyond ludicrous. The reconfiguration of the government national is likely, involving changes to cabinet and deputy positions, according to David Makura's presentation. So, the ANC holds its National Executive Committee meeting, and there they decide government policy. Now, who's arrogant here? Who is arrogant here? The ANC is formulating government policy on its own, talking about consultations in cabinet. There's no consultations. Only doofuses wearing wearing yellow, gold, and black are there. Yellow, green, and black. Yellow, green, and black. Only ANC colors are present. There's no one from the GNU there. And you're talking about GNU and cabinet and this and cooperation? What a scam. What an absolute scam. The ANC holds its internal party senior leadership meeting and they decide all the policy. And that's what I've told you since day one. And whose fault is this? Whose fault is this, ladies and gentlemen? There's one person, one group that's responsible for this morass. Want to guess who's responsible for this? Is it Ramaphosa? Is it Fikile Mbalula? Who is responsible for this stupidity that's going on right now? Who had the ability to make this thing go the right way and they failed? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess? Wait, there you go. There's some answers. Now we get some answers coming. No, it's not Ramaphosa. He's not responsible. He was weak. Ramaphosa only had 40% of the vote. He couldn't form a government and control the government and get people to vote for him to be president unless he found an ally. And who is his ally? The DA. And I don't know if we blame Helen Zille or John Steenhuisen or both of them equally. Who's responsible for this? I don't think John Steenhuisen is the one negotiating. I think Helen Zille is the one negotiated this crappy agreement. The DA is responsible for this. The DA, which held all the cards and walked out like a wicked stepsister that nobody wants to date. They got nothing. Home affairs, broken. And Leon Schreiber's fixing it. Forestry, spare me. Communications, give me a break. Nothing of substance. No police, no intelligence, no foreign ministry, no finance, nothing. They control nothing. None of the levers of power, real power in the government are under their control. And they have no say. When they do say something, they're accused of treason or called right-wing, which is comical. The DA is not right-wing. They're a leftist political party. They love socialism. State-owned enterprises, oh yeah, they're great as long as we run them. Yeah, but they don't want to get rid of SAA and ESCOM. They want to run it because they know better, because they're socialist. And they're going to tell us how to live our lives. That's the Democratic Alliance. Yep, the whole thing is a scam. The government nationally is a scam. And now they want to make it even larger. What a joke. Is Ronaldo here? I didn't see Ronaldo. I saw somebody mention him. I don't see Ronaldo. He must be hiding. In plain sight, probably. Hiding in plain sight. Yep, it's just a scam. It's just a scam. Well, the DA and the ANC are headed for a showdown, according to the NEC. Two partners have been wrestling with each other over their perceived dominance. What dominance? The DA has no dominance. They're like little biatches being beaten. ANC will embark on what's expected to be a tough and robust negotiations to reconfigure the government national unity, having resolved on its expansion during the National Executive Committee. In his closing address, President Ramaphosa announced that the NEC had resolved to include other parties. Really? So here, let me put this in clear context for you. The ANC approached the Democratic Alliance and asked them to form a coalition so that the ANC could remain in power. They agreed. They signed a binding agreement. The binding agreement was between the ANC and the DA. Now the ANC runs off to its private little meeting and says, we're going to expand it yet again. Disingenuous, dishonest, and fraudulent on the part of the ANC. Surprise, surprise. Well, police are asking for help after a fourth woman's body has been found. Horrific, burnt cadavers. Police asked for help after a fourth burnt female body found at Pretoria Station. Motives unknown for murder in the vicinity of the Waterloo train station. Silverton police discovered a fourth burnt body at the Waterloo train station in Silvertondale, Pretoria, on Monday. 3 burnt bodies were found in the same vicinity in June and July this year. Though the motive is unknown, reports suggest the murders share a similar modus operandi, and police are investigating to establish there's a link between the cases. Is there a serial killer here? Police are appealing to anyone who might have information that can help in the investigation. They have no idea what's going on. Do we have a serial killer on the loose? Are these prostitutes? Is there something going on here? There's something similar? And why aren't these women missing? Or are they missing? Cabello Quacha, away to you. Well, Action SA is asking questions about why an ANC member of parliament is leading the committee probe into the Mkwanazi claims. ANC MP Soviet Lekanganye has been elected to lead the ad hoc committee, but I think it was rejected. The Action SA party has questioned how the committee can be led by an ANC MP when many of the party's members are implicated. Agreed. Why don't you pick somebody from the ACDP to do this? Kenny Kunene loses a hate speech case. See, these cases only go forward when certain folks are attacked and protected, like Julius Malema, who's protected by the system. Kenny Kunene called Julius Malema a cockroach, and for that he has to apologize. The Equality Court said he has to apologize for calling the guy a cockroach. Wow. Kenny Kunene said his utterances fell outside the ambit of the act and they were personal attacks on Malema rather than as a group or any member. But he has to, whether he intended to use the word cockroach is internationally recognized as hateful to those to whom it's directed. It is also, if not in itself an incitement to do them harm, clearly indicative of an attempt to place them beyond the protection of ordinary human decency. The political use of the term cockroach is always everywhere a call to threat to those to whom the term is directed as objects of hate. The use of the word cockroach should have reasonably been understood as evidencing a clear intent to harm and promote hatred. I'm sorry, the Equality Court can determine that the word cockroach is a clear intent to harm people, but kill the boar, exhorting people to murder white farmers, is not hate speech? You have zero credibility, Equality Court. You're not an Equality Court. You're a racist court is what you are. Unbelievable. The textual definition of hate speech outlined in the Act, read purposefully in the statutory setting, was, in our view, designed, at least in part, to prevent political speech in South Africa from denigrating into an act of mutual dehumanization. And what is kill the boar? Is that not dehumanization? Calling white people Neanderthals? Isn't that not dehumanization? But apparently that's not hate speech. You can hate speech and murder white people in South Africa, and there are no consequences. But you can call Julius Malema a cockroach, and that's a violation of the law? Well, KwaZulu-Natal is rolling out 6.8 million rand mobile police stations. Wow. Wonder what they won't do. 4 mobile police stations, each worth over 1.7 million rand, until they get burned in riots, have been deployed to high crime areas like Inanda, KwaMatuta, Bulwer, and KwaMbonambi to improve police and community safety. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. They'll soon be torched by terrorists in protest. A 74-year-old South African Navy veteran was murdered by his neighbor. Why? Because he thought he was spying on him. And he invited these people to a braai, and then they murdered him. Take care, Fitnut. Murder accused Julio Nobrega hired a new lawyer. It's his third for this case. He's accused of ordering his employees to kill 74-year-old South African Navy veteran Ken Price. He believed Price was spying on his panel beating business. I'm sorry. What was Mr. Price discovering new techniques for using a hammer to bang panels back into shape? What? In court on Monday, State Advocate Tabane Buthelezi requested an adjournment to give Governor this time to catch up with the proceedings. That's the new lawyer. Here are the accused, Indians. On Friday, we got the quote for transcription. Anyway, so Price, who lived alone in Malvern, was killed in November of 2021. His decomposing body was discovered at Richards Bay, almost 2 hours away from his home in May the following year. Nobrega and his 3 employees and siblings were arrested in connection with the murder. Price's remains were found after Padikaya, who has since died, pointed out where the body had been dumped. Nobrega arrived with Padiche as well as other employees. Price became intoxicated at the braai and the accused helped him inside his house, following which they went back to Nobrega's house where they conspired to rob and kill the deceased. They struck him in the head with a hammer, killing him. Then Nobrega, Padiche, Matale, and Nikel cleaned the blood of the deceased's house and loaded the body into Nobrega's car. They drove to Empanagani, where they dumped the body in some bushes. Or said Padiche. Well, South Africa doesn't have Starlink, but guess who does? Anybody guess who got Starlink in Africa? Another country in Africa has got Starlink, but South Africa doesn't. Want to take a guess? No, it's not Zimbabwe. It's not Lesotho. Who got it? Who got it? Who got it? Aha! Smart crowd. Somalia. Somalia gets Starlink. Starlink was officially launched in Somalia, where residents can now order the standard satellite internet kit for $390 or the compact mini dish for $200. A residential subscription costs $70 a month. The arrival of reliable high-speed internet in Somalia marks a significant step in a country that until recently was often described as a failed state. So South Africa doesn't have Starlink. So does that make it a failed state? Somalia has Starlink, but South Africa doesn't. Well, despite the tariff reprieve, Lesotho has been harmed badly because people folded up their tent. The threat of 50% tariff led to canceled orders and job cuts. A reprieve from the 50% tariff for goods from Lesotho has come too late to prevent damage to the Mountain Kingdom's textiles industry. The textile industry's players in the country, which produces jeans and other garments for popular US brands such as Levi's and Walmart, said the uncertainty around tariffs over the past few months had already devastated the sector, with orders canceled and jobs cut. We were on the verge of building our American market, says Teboho Kobele, founder and managing director of Afri Expo Textiles. He said the U.S. market made up 10% of his company's production, about $1 million a year, and then he had to lay off 200 workers, or 40% of his workforce, after the announcement in April. That's a lot lost. I suppose it is. 12,000 jobs are already gone. Sorry to hear that. The Trump administration has gotten a deal from Rwanda. Rwanda has agreed to accept 250 criminal alien invaders. Rwanda agreed to accept up to 250 deportees from the United States, joining at least 2 other African nations in assisting Trump administration as it seeks to expel criminal alien invaders from the United States to countries with which they have no connection. Good. Thank you. ShopRite is exiting Malawi and Ghana. 25 years they've been in Malawi, but they've overexpanded and are losing control. South Africa's biggest grocery retailer, ShopRite, said on Tuesday it's selling its operations in Ghana and Malawi, marking another step towards consolidation of its activities across Africa to focus more on its home market. They expanded extensively across Africa, surpassing rivals such as Pick n Pay and Walmart's own Massmart to become the continent's largest food retailer in 15 countries. But efforts to go into Angola and Nigeria have harmed their bottom line with currency volatility. No, the ANC won't disappear for good. They'll just be much diminished. Momentum for Netanyahu, who plans to occupy all of Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to discuss the move with top defense officials today, and Defense Minister Israel Katz is promising to professionally implement whatever the government decides. Momentum is building for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plans to expand military operations and occupy the entire Gaza Strip, which is not going over well for the world. India defying Trump, the relationship on rocky shoals. Indian experts believe that Trump will back down once India and U.S. sign a trade deal. India is digging in its heels and resisting pressure from the U.S. to curb purchases of Russian oil, despite threats from Trump to retaliate by imposing higher tariffs on India. Well, good luck, Modi. Good luck. In Australia, the wackadoodles are taking charge. They're trying to change the seasons, yes, because there's More seasons, according to Aborigines, than actually exist. Well, some Aborigines will take exception to that, but we have 4 seasons around the world. A mayor floats Aboriginal 6-season year for Melbourne. The idea was mooted during a town hall discussion on how to improve the city of Melbourne. Well, not by changing the seasonal calendar. That photo purports to be an Aboriginal man and woman marching. That's a very white-looking woman for an Aborigine. Are you sure she's not just dating Aborigines? She does have the Aboriginal flag tattooed on her forearm, on her right forearm. But she doesn't look very Aboriginal to me. And that guy doesn't look very Aboriginal to me either. He looks kind of, Pakistani or African. The people behind them look like Aborigines, but they don't look like Aborigines. Anyway, Melbourne's 4 seasons may not make sense anymore, says Lord Mayor Nicholas Rees, who says a rethink could be in order based on local Indigenous tribes that recognize 6 distinct seasons a year. Rees made the comments on August 5th in discussion with some of the ideas to create a 25-year plan for the city of Melbourne, including enhancing overall happiness levels and making the murky Yarra River swimmable. So in the Wurundjeri calendar, there are 6 seasons, he told 3AW Radio. There's a wet summer, a dry summer, a wet winter, and a dry winter. And when you think about it, it makes sense. We've gone and superimposed the 4 seasons, essentially from Northern Europe here in Melbourne, and they don't really match up with the weather patterns. So now they're going to change the seasons. I think that guy's brain has a slow puncture. Russian nuclear submarine base is hit by the quake. The Rabachi base, which hosts nuclear submarines from Russia's Pacific Fleet, lies in a cove 80 miles from the powerful earthquake that struck Kamchatka Peninsula last week. And you can see in the photograph there, on the left-hand side is August 3rd. The pier is moved. On the right-hand side, you can see the pier before the earthquake. And look at that. That's not good. A nuclear submarine base in the remote far east of Russia sustained minor damage last week after the region was rocked by one of the strongest earthquakes in decades. A floating pier broke free of its moors. Appears to have been badly damaged. Well, that's not good. Swedish children's brand abandons the American market because their crappy Chinese-made garbage and their racist ads are not appealing to people who don't want to pay that much. Swedish children's brand Polarn O Pirate pulls out of U.S. over tariffs. Popular with American parents for its durable, waterproof outerwear, Polarn plans to close its U.S. franchises by year's end. Here they are advertising mixed-race child, which represents 0.1% of the U.S. population. Since 2009, Swedish brand Polarn has sold kid-size outwear to a loyal fan base of outdoorsy American parents. Now they blame the tariffs they're pulling out of the U.S. market altogether. Their last shipment from China arrived in April. They manufacture virtually all their outerwear in China. And because they originate in China, they're going to be hit with transshipment tariffs. So you can take your non-Swedish Chinese garbage and your pushing of racial discord right on back to Sweden, because we don't need it. We'll buy something else. Far-right activists in UK is arrested. Well, Tommy Robinson has been arrested over the incident that occurred at the train station, St. Pancras train station. Tommy Robinson was taken into custody for questioning on Monday after an assault that seriously injured a man last month at St. Pancras train station when the guy attacked him. Tommy Robinson, and look at this generous description from a so-called news outlet, the New York Slimes, a far-right anti-immigrant agitator, was arrested on Monday on suspicion of assaulting a man. The 42-year-old, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, was taken into custody at Luton. Police never confirmed the identity of a person who has been formally charged, but British Transport Police said that 42-year-old man from Bedfordshire had been arrested in connection with the 28 July assault at St. Pancras. He was released on bail until September 2nd. Video footage published by The Sun, a British newspaper, showed Robinson being met by police officers as he disembarked. So why is the Sun at Luton Airport? I've been to Luton Airport many times. I've never seen the Sun there recording people arriving on a plane. It's illegal to disclose the name, yet someone outed and doxed Tommy Robinson. Yeah, it's typical. Typical leftist garbage from this British government. Well, Switzerland's president is desperately seeking she's desperately seeking no tariffs. Yes. Swiss president dashes off to Washington to avert the crippling Trump tariffs. Swiss President Karin Keller-Sutter is here now, meeting our trade representative. Her aim is to facilitate meetings with U.S. authorities to short notice and hold talks to view of improving the tariff situation. Switzerland's been hit hard because it has a $50 billion trade surplus with the U.S. But here's the problem. The story isn't fair because the story doesn't tell the truth. Are there artificial barriers to prevent our products and services from getting there, which it doesn't address? It only addresses tariffs. It says that since January 1st of 2024, they've scrapped all tariffs on industrial goods. but that's industrial goods. That's not everything. So what's the real situation here? I don't know. The tariff is 39%. It's devastating for Switzerland. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been placed under house arrest by the corrupt Brazilian Supreme Court. The U.S. has condemned the court order and accused the judge of using Brazil's institutions to silence political opposition and threaten democracy, which is what they're doing. Morales' latest order barred Bolsonaro from using his cell phone or receiving visitors while under house arrest. What the hell is that? The former president of the country can't use a cell phone? You can obtain a warrant to wiretap him. What a bunch of nonsense. Well, Trump just keeps on winning, folks. Win, win, win every time you turn around. Yes, I'm aware of the footage. He was in self-defense, Michael. That's why I said it's a scam by the government of Britain. Trump accumulates wins on the Supreme Court. Of the ridiculous cases that have been taken to the Supreme Court against Trump, he just keeps winning and winning and winning. President Trump's ambitious agenda has been met with order after order from lower courts blocking him. Many of those have been lifted by the Supreme Court, handing Trump several wins and raising questions about how lower courts have been handling his cases. The administration has been remarkably successful with the High Court obtaining relief in 14 of the 18 appeals that have been ruled on by the justices. So far, the Supreme Court has allowed Trump to block spending across multiple departments, remove high-ranking bureaucrats and probationary employees, and move forward with immigration enforcement measures. So all he does is win, 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 despite the left. They keep trying, and they keep losing. U.S. will require some visitors to deposit $15,000 to make sure they go home. Wow. A State Department pilot program will tie the cash deposits to tourist and business visas for people from countries with high visa overstay rates. Addressing what it calls a clear national security threat, the Trump administration will require that some foreign visitors pay bonds of up to $15,000. No less than $5,000, but up to $15,000 to be able to come to America. President Trump says that as early as next week, we can see tariffs on semiconductors. Also, pharmaceuticals could be as high as 250%. President Trump said he will soon release details as new tariff plans for semiconductors and chips. We're going to be announcing on semiconductors and chips, which is a separate category because we want them made in USA. And also on pharmaceuticals. Do you know that we don't make Tylenol in America? We don't make Tylenol. We invented it. It's not made here. It's made in China. Why is that? Why is it made in China? Texas House is moving to arrest the Democrats who fled the state and abandoned their responsibilities. Texas House Speaker said he signed civil arrest warrants for Democrats who did not show up in the special session. State House Democrats fled Sunday in a bid to block redrawing the state's congressional map, which was orchestrated by Republicans with the support of President Trump. Legal experts say the civil unrest warrants are likely unenforceable outside state lines. Agreed. Well, Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, the doughboy governor of Illinois, the temporary home for the Texas demon rats, the Panicans. It's a gerrymandering hotspot. Just 3 of the 17 congressional districts are represented by Republicans in a state where Trump won 44% of the vote. So they're complaining about Texas, where Trump won over 50% of the vote, and they're claiming it's unfair that it's being redistricted and they're losing Democratic seats. But look at the map and the districts the Democrats previously drew. They're unsustainable. They're unrealistic. They're just obviously an effort to paralyze Congress. The same thing in Illinois. 44% of the voters voted Republican, yet they only control 3 seats because of the way this thing is broken up. It is one of the most heavily gerrymandered states in the country. And the irony and hypocrisy is that they're fleeing there to complain about what's going on in Texas. Democrats. They break all the rules and then they cry that the other people break the rules. Bonds of $15,000. Hope not during the World Cup next year. If so, FIFA should sell it to Qatar again. Well, New York voters embrace this crooked system of ranked choice voting. And that's how this radical Islamic fanaticist who hates cops and hates Americans and hates white people and hates Christians, Mamdani, became the candidate for the Democrats. Democratic primary for mayor of New York City in June was the second major election in which the city used ranked choice voting. The results show that voters and campaigns are becoming more sophisticated in how they use the system. The race had 2 clear frontrunners, Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo. Mamdani ultimately benefited more from the ranked choice, especially after his cross-endorsement with Brad Lander, the city comptroller, who finished 3rd. Majority of voters responding to the campaign led by Mr. Cuomo's foes and critics left him off their ballots entirely. After the first choice votes were tallied, Mamdani and Cuomo were so far ahead of the pack that it was mathematically impossible for anyone else to win. So the tabulation continued. All the other candidates were eliminated in one batch. But to dig deeper, the New York Times analyzed the ranked choice data pulled from each voter's ballot to show exactly how the field reduced from 11 to 2. Yep. And they just took off these people. There you go. Write-ins are gone. And you just walk down here. And then there you go. 37 and 44%. And then next thing you know, we're down to just those two. So, Cuomo, second, third ballots, fourth ballots, almost no votes. Mamdani got it first. Anyway, ridiculous. Ridiculous. This is a corrupt system. That's not how you vote for people. You pick who you want. You don't get to have second choices. White House prepares an order to punish banks that discriminate against conservatives. It's long overdue. These banks don't deserve their license when they discriminate against people based on their political views. President expects to sign an executive order as soon as this week that targets debanking of businesses, including crypto companies. A draft executive order, which is viewed by Wall Street Journal, directs bank regulators to investigate whether any financial institutions might have violated the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, antitrust laws, or consumer financial protection laws. And in fact, they have. Many of them have done that. Yep. The bank doesn't name any specific banks, but appears to refer to an instance where Bank of America was accused of shutting down the accounts of a Christian organization operating in Uganda based on the organization's religious beliefs. The bank said it was closed the accounts because it doesn't serve small businesses operating outside the U.S. Yeah, but they've done this to conservatives all over the country, debanking them, particularly sites like GoFundMe, crowdsourcing. Yep. Legionnaire's disease has struck in New York. This is a bad one, man. I remember this broke in Philadelphia when I was a kid. It's called Legionnaire's disease because an American Legion convention was taking place. Most likely linked to a cooling tower in central Harlem, which is where that happened in a hotel. It was the air conditioning system. At least 58 people fallen ill, including 2 people who have died from Legionnaire's disease. City health officials believe that the people most likely became ill after breathing in bacteria sprayed from cooling towers in central Harlem. Initial screening results for 11 cooling towers in the area were positive for the bacteria that caused the disease. Legionnaire's is a severe form of pneumonia that can cause cough, shortness of breath, and fever. The risk is low for most people, but people who live or work around the affected area should see a health care provider immediately if they develop flu-like symptoms. 6,000 cases of Legionnaire's are reported each year in the United States, but a lot of people believe in the scientific field that the disease is underreported because the symptoms are similar to pneumonia. Ocean Gate's submersible implosion was preventable. Deadly Titan submersible implosion was preventable, according to the Coast Guard. Ocean Gate's failure to meet safety standards led to the 2023 implosion that killed 5 people. U.S. Coast Guard determined the implosion of the Titan submersible that killed 5 people while traveling to the wreckage of the Titanic was a preventable disaster caused by Ocean Gate Expedition's inability to meet safety and engineering standards. A 335-page report detailing a 2-year inquiry from the Coast Guard's Maritime Board of Investigations found the company that owned and operated the Titan failed to follow maintenance and inspection protocols for the deep-sea submersible. Ocean Gate avoided regulatory review and managed its submersible outside the standard protocols by strategically creating and exploiting regulatory confusion and oversight challenges. Ocean Gate did shut down its operations after the implosion. The company worked with the Coast Guard throughout the investigation. Wow. Entirely preventable. American Eagle stock is soaring as Trump hails the Sydney Sweeney ad. The sexually charged ad campaign featuring the double entendre tagline Sydney Sweeney has great genes has stirred debate over race, beauty, and history. Go get him, Sweeney. Go get him, Sydney. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on a rare 6-planet parade. Will grace the summer night sky this month. All right. Invisible by day, making only occasional cameos by night, the planets are typically sporadic in their appearances over Earth, but in early August, 6 of them, 7 if we include Earth, will align in a small sector of the sky before dawn. It's astronomically rare that so many celestial objects line up so perfectly in space. However, the planets follow very roughly the same ecliptic around the sun, corresponding to the sun's sky path as seen from Earth. So when cosmic timing causes several planets to sync up along their orbits, they form a rather ragtag procession for Earth observers. And if you wait long enough, they'll all line up. This year's 6-planet parade will squeeze closest together on August 10th. Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn will all be visible to the left of the moon on August 10th. But it's very briefly because the sun will be coming up, and so you only see it momentarily. So that will be exciting stuff. And that's the news for today, folks. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done it already. All right, Legionnaires because they have so many illegals. No, Legionnaires because it was at an American Legion convention where it was first identified in the 1970s. Never seen the History Channel. Safety rep. I got crapped about when crying about old mute Miss Blair con. Oh. Trump used to run the Miss America contest. He's a good judge of what subject. Yeah, he used to own it. It was his property. I'd go to New York if I could make everyday paid TikTok account showcasing all the crazy happenings work every day. There you go. They were all lined up for just a few months ago. All 6 of them? I don't recall all 6 of them being lined up. Wayne Button, I think you need to do a music festival at the end of the year using your music for calibration of the Americans. Yeah, maybe we will. We keep it going. We'll have enough music. I mean, we already got 40 songs, an average of 3 minutes. So that's 120 minutes. That's already 2 hours of music. If you just listen to the 40 songs in there, it should get you about 2 hours. We just play them and don't even have to play repeat. Excuse me. Right. Wasn't that Mondami character fired from UCT? No, his father was fired from UCT. South Africa's insanity, repeating the same thing over and over, expecting different result. Yep. Anyone hear how satisfied the ANC parties with their meeting? It was cold, the food was awful, the Coke wasn't the original. I didn't hear that. Fortunately, we're all living in a terrorist state. Only American God can get us out of this, says Leanne. All tourist visas and some business-related visas must pay $5,000 certain countries. Yeah, for certain countries. Bonds up to $15,000. I hope not during FIFA World Cup. Well, I don't know. I doubt they'll do it during the World Cup. Tommy Robinson said he changed his return flight so he could go to the police himself, and then they brought in high numbers of police for publicity. He also asked for footage. Yeah, no, the police clearly leaked the whole thing because they're just scam artists. They're just shameful. We know what's going on in the United Kingdom. It's terrible. It's terrible. Brazil is a crap hole because of these leftist loonies. Seems the whole world has gone cuckoos. Yeah, it has gone cuckoos. Every Swiss president has a 1-year term. I didn't realize that. It's believed that a certain political party will be writing to the Minister of Defense asking what the cost of hell. Yeah, well, I'll be asking. They've already spent money on it, and it's been canceled because the ANC and the SANDF reneged on the status force agreement, which has been in place for years. And we've been there three previous occasions. This would have been the 4th occasion to do shared accord. And we're not going to go. You can't send your soldiers overseas with no guns. What kind of nonsense is that? Then they're not soldiers. They're just dudes wearing uniforms. Tommy was freed today. He should never have been arrested. $50 a month for unlimited data, $220 for uncapped, plus $500 for the kit. Why are they pandering to the Aborigines? Exactly, Charles. Bring nothing to the economy in general. They're less than 10%. They're far less than 10%. Yep. Because they're woke losers. We, the city of Ottawa, recognize we're occupying stolen land. Shut up. It's not stolen land. Stupid people. The MK party has proposed a draft bill to put all South African land under state custodianship. Really? That's news. That wasn't up there earlier. Let's see that one. My wife's in the business for many years. Tender outrage unjustified, says ANC boss. I see nothing from MK. Let me just do a search. MK. See what comes up on News 24. Oh, there it is. There it is. 14 hours ago. Why didn't that show up on my feed? Thank you for that news story. I'll look at that. Constitution 22nd Amendment Bill seeks to amend Section 25 and to address historical injustice of land dispossession dating from 6 April 1652. Well, I would like to have a conversation about historical land dispossession starting from the year 400, when the Bantu tribes began arriving and stealing the land. Yep. Land and natural resources of the Republic belong to the people of South Africa, collectively. No, they don't. No, they don't. Wow. All right, well, that's going to call for a video. I have to make a video on that. Wow. Well, thank you for that one. That's going to be a huge video. 6 women's bodies found. Another one. My goodness. Madeline, I didn't hear about the 6th one now. Thank you for that update. Sure to hit the like button here, folks. Hit the like button. We got 668. Ooh, that used to be an address of mine, 668. That's a number I'll never forget. What are the 2 new seasons? dry rainy season and wet rain and dry season is what they called them, if I recall reading it. What does Starlink cost them? Oh, so that's what someone was asking. Okay. Has anyone calculated the cumulative effect of 30% plus 10% and the death would go? Yeah, I did, Chris. So the tariffs for many items were basically avoiding a 2.5% tariff. So that's, you got to calculate that. Then 30, that's 32.5 plus 10 is 42.5%. If that 10% tariff's thrown on there. Yep. More jobs. I know the NC's finished. However, I still think they believe they're running the country. They do think they're running the country. That's why they're having a National Executive Committee meeting and they're discussing what the government of South Africa is going to do. That's not its role. The National Executive Committee should be sitting and going, okay, how do we finance this corrupt party? What is our plan to get elected? How are we going to get people in positions here? What are our themes? What are our policies? What are our goals and objectives? What's our manifesto? Now, instead, they're sitting there discussing the composition of policies for the government. That's not the role of the NEC. That is an arrogant party. Nurses using racial slurs there for asking questions on her mom. Wow. They can call us and do to us whatever please them. When we have the cheek to retaliate, they just cut us down. That's how Southers currently run. We're powerless and they run it. Yep. Well, when it collapses and they're all starving and killing each other, the people who are responsible for this, then they'll regret it. Called a white pig by a non-white saying we must tolerate this because they just do this because they want and test our patience. Well, they can try that with me. It won't work. It won't work. Saw a video about the EFF calling for treason charge to be directly applied to anyone talking out against government. I haven't seen that. They're throwing around the notion that all property should remain under the state. I warned 30%ers it was coming when the EWC crap started. But hey, yep, no, I warned too, 1440. Yep. Southern government does not disappoint in providing new news. Yeah, no, I mean, I can't get any rest. I can't even prep for my trip. I'm too busy just responding to the stupidity and projecting what's going to happen. I'm still looking for the Nkambisi Jonas video on News 24. I can't find that. People keep saying they're going to send me the link, but they keep sending me Willem Petzer's video. I don't need Willem Petzer's video. No, Zuma is not in the ANC. Arno, you're wrong. Zuma was ejected from the ANC several months ago. He was kicked out of the ANC by the ANC Disciplinary Committee. He's no longer an ANC member. He's suing to get it back, but he's not a member. PF. I don't know what that is. The only problem with my head keeps shaking long after the news. It's stupidity. It really is stupid. Trying to get a client to do business and been told, why are you here? You're white. I can't deal with you. That's private sector. Jeez. Yeah, same thing with Bella, yep. And NHI. Where would Ramaphosa run to if he had to flee the country? Moscow or Beijing? You know, Zuma can't be president again. That's correct. Did somebody say he was going to be president? He can't be president again. He does look healthy enough to go back to jail. I agree. And serve his time. Permanent force. Thank you, Vilma. I didn't know what that was. Or Dubai. Yeah, Dubai would probably be the place to go. ET Queen Municipality requests urgent additional $22 million for urgent Solomon Mlongo Drive roadworks. Crazy. All right. Moscow. Yeah. I think Dubai's probably a better chance. Montasha's new proposed small mining bill as well. I didn't see that. Two of my friends are pushed out under the guise of a restructure. They can't find work, and it seems the quota has been filled. It doesn't matter, Arctic. It doesn't matter if he finishes his term. He finished the requisite portion that prevents him from going back. He served like 7/8 of his term. So, yeah, he was only pushed out at the end. Karin van der Westhuizen, totally cooked. Yep. Got replaced by black females. I wonder if any of them are competent. So, here's one we published last night. So, folks, I'm no longer calling the refugees that come to America refugees. I'm calling them our Safas, our South Africans. Mad Max. Durko, what's that video? Okay, let's see what Mad Max has come up with for me there. raise immigration concerns. Oh, because of the special flight. But yet they don't raise immigration concerns coming from Mozambique or from Zimbabwe, who invade their country every day. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I no longer call them the refugees. I'm calling them our Safas, and we made a song last night about it. All right? And there's 2 country versions. This is the first country version. Our Safas. Be sure to hit the like button. There's 800 of you here, 710 likes. Let's make it happen, folks. Oh, come on. This stupid thing. Once again, it's not playing nice. Let's try it again. Nope. All right. The tab just goes kind of cattywampus there sometimes. Cattywampus. This is too Brogdingnabian. Big words. Where's my library? Here's my library. Our Safas country version. Let's try it again. There we go. Tribute to South Africans who've come to America as refugees. They're now our Safas. No longer refugees. On Radio Afterlife.
They came with the wind on their backs, carrying dreams in worn out sacks. Eyes wide, hearts a little bruised, but their hope refused to lose. Our Safas, our kin, our team, no longer a shadow, now they gleam in liberty's arms. They found their place in America's heart. They leave their trace.
The sun sets but never fades away. They work and they laugh, they find their way.
Building a life, brick by brick. Their courage fierce, their spirit thick. Our Safas, our kin, our team, no longer a shadow, now they gleam in liberty's arms. They found their place in America's heart. They leave their trace. No borders can break what they built.
No fear can drown their will or guilt.
They've woven their story into ours, turning the soil, planting the stars. Our Safas, our kin, our team, no longer a shadow, now they gleam in liberty's arms. They found their place in America's heart. They leave their trace.
Our Safas on Radio Afterlife, coming to you from the other side. Yeah. All of this music is available on Spotify, and if you want to buy it, Amazon, iTunes, Apple, it's all on there. So, folks, I want to thank all the people because in just short order, in very short order, this is what's happened here. DJ Silver Eagle went from 0 subscribers, 0 listeners on Spotify just a couple weeks ago to now 1,006 listeners on DJ Silver Eagle. How cool is that, folks? 43 songs already posted, 1,000 subscribers. That is awesome. You can listen to it there, or you can buy the music if you want, or catch it here when I play it. But yeah, wow. Naomi Pauline King just joined the first time. Please do not use all caps. Naomi, please do not use all caps. My moderators will lose their crap and tell you can't use all caps. Please do not use all caps. It's considered rude and impolite on the internet, and that's been that way for decades. So please, welcome to the program. Please do not use all caps. And my moderators, don't lose your crap yelling at her, okay? So she doesn't know, so I just told her. Yeah, no, that's awesome. We've already got 1,000 people following, and there's the Spotify link right there. Thank you, Hendo, for sharing that. Yep, there you go. There you go. That's cool. All of you are welcome to join me over there. It's pretty cool stuff. Let me take a look. It was interesting when I looked at the stats on this because, excuse me, I got to find Spotify for Artists here. Spotify for Artists because it gives me, there you go. For Artists, let me go to my channel. And it tells me my audience. So here we go. So we're over 10,000 streams, by the way, too. We've hit 1,009 listeners because it's gone up since I showed you that. 10,000 streams in very short order, but only 290 followers. I don't understand how the followers works on Spotify. But if I look at the audience, I look at the location. This is what's fascinating. So 323 of those listeners in South Africa, 131 in the U.S., Brazil with 76 people in Brazil listening, 39 in the United Kingdom, Mexico 35, Germany 33, Turkey with 21. Wow. That's pretty wild. So interesting stuff. This is people all over the world are listening to the music we're putting together here, which comes from me and sometimes from your all's ideas. And so here is what we got. There's the demographics. Look at the map. Those are the countries where people, even Nigeria people have listened. India, Thailand, Indonesia. Well, we know that. Jeremy's in Indonesia. Japan, Sweden, Poland. That's so cool. The Bugger Off Bunny. The Bugger Off Bunny is a pretty cool one. So yeah, that's what's going on there. That's pretty wild, folks. I mean, I'm really excited about that. I mean, that's not something I ever intended to do. And it just kind of something that kind of came up because people said, why can't we find your music on Spotify? I'm like, because I'm not on Spotify. Well, now I'm on Spotify. And it's 42% female. Okay. That's pretty good. And most of the audience is young. We got 10% 18 to 24, 23% are 25, 34, and 24% are 35. So under the age of 45, it's 20, 40, 57% of the audience is under the age of 45. That's pretty cool. Thank you for the memberships being handed out there. Yeah, the Spotify stuff is cool. People are just surprised about it, as am I. All right, thank you for pointing out the MK story. I didn't see that, so I'm going to have to make a video about that. That'll be good. That's a beautiful touch. Well, thank you. I think they're all pretty good. But we know Stay Off My Lawn, right? You guys know that one. Stay Off My Lawn. Yeah, that's a good one. I love that one. So all the memberships popping in here because somebody just paid for a bunch of memberships. So let me turn that off for a moment so we don't get disturbed by that. So, right. Where's my music? There it is. So we got Sydney's Jeans. We played that earlier. That's Our Saffers. Footsec Yardbirds. That's a pretty cool one. Not My Fault. Cyril, It's Too Late. No Refugees on My Lawn. Yeah, that's the other one. I like that one. Get Off My Lawn. Okay. Then we got the Steamed Crabs, Just Ain't Boiled Frogs. That's a funny one. Charles inspired that one. And then the Pot Boils Over. That's one I really like too. So Just a Boer and Boer Micey. That's a good one. So let's play The Pot Boils Over.
The water's rising slow and hot. The frog's still dreaming in the pot. Steam whispers secrets to the air. Do you jump or do you dare? Tick tock, the heat won't stop. The lid shakes like it's gonna pop. The pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leave. Take your shot. The pot boils over, like it or not.
It's a tribute to Cyril Ramaphosa and his pot and the frog.
Cyril's cards fell just as planned. He dealt the aces, played his hand, but the crowd's awake, their voices loud. A restless wave, a roaring crowd. Tick tock, the time runs thin. Boiling point, it's sink or swim. The pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay
Pot boils over on Radio Afterlife, coming to you from the other side. And that has more meaning than you can imagine. It's the other side of the Atlantic here, folks. For those in South Africa and Africa, the pot boils over. The next one is inspired by the arrogance and the disdain for South Africans displayed by the ruling government of national unity. This was called It's Not Just Your Oyster. Stay here for Radio Afterlife, Not Just Your Oyster. Little upbeat, enjoyable music.
You walking like the world owes you a crown. Heads turned, but the smiles they're upside down. Glitter fades fast when the shine ain't real. You want the throne, but can you even stand? No shortcuts here, just grit in your hand. It's not just your oyster, it's not just your stage. The pearls come from pressure, not ego or rage. Work hard, stay true, don't just demand country. Don't claim, give the world your hand. Mirror, mirror, what's it gonna say? Reflection cracks when you play it fake all day. Genuine's rare and rare holds the key. Your spotlight dims if the fire's not lit. Values and effort, not just the outfit. It's not just your oyster, it's not just your change. The pearls come from pressure, not ego or rage. Work hard, stay true, don't just demand, contribute, don't claim, give the world your hand. It's not just your oyster, it's not just your stage. The pearls come from pressure, not ego or rage. Work hard, stay true, don't just demand, contribute, don't claim, give the world your hand.
Not Just Your Oyster here on Radio Afterlife, coming to you from the other side. For those who are curious, just tuning in for the first time, where this music comes from, I am hutful of the fake copyright claims by YouTube on my videos when I play things that I have the copyright for. I have all the copyrights for all the music that comes from Giselle, and I get copyright claims all the time. So I decided to give in because people were asking for something. I made the song Save South Africa when I was in South Africa. And then I made the song about the meet and greet vibes at Strand. And they were proved to be very popular. People asked me, why is my music on Spotify? So I signed up for a subscription to the site where I was making this stuff. I'd already done it to get those two songs. And I decided to start making songs and music that we can play and enjoy without copyright BS. And so that's what this is. These are artificial intelligence. I give it the genre. I pick the type of vocals. I give it keywords and titles, and then it generates the lyrics automatically. Or I can write my own lyrics. I've even got a couple songs we've done in Afrikaans. But right now, folks, up on Radio Afterlife, the next one you're going to hear. Thank you, El-Marie. Have you seen the link to Gabi sent you? Yes, it's on Twitter. I found that. Yes, and I'll download it. Thank you for El-Marie. And hi, Colonel, sent a WhatsApp rotate, change the coming to at least some of the PRM group. People should not lose hope. Things are picking up pace. Thank you, Juliet. I have a whole bunch of WhatsApp messages from people about PRM and the circumstances. All of them seem to contradict each other. All of you seem to be having different experiences, so I'm not really sure what to believe or understand. I'm going to have to reach out to the State Department and see if I can't get better clarity on that. All of you are telling me the truth, but your truth is different. If such a thing can exist. Anyway, so this one is by popular demand. We did the Bugger Off Bunny song, and a lot of people said, can we do a follow-up? So this is Return of the Bugger Off Bunny. It's from it's the Kingston version from Jamaica, man. Return of the Bugger Off Bunny.
Bugger off, bunny ups in the fight. Wyatt Army marches through the night. For right and justice we stand tall. Faith in our hearts, freedom for all. Chris at my side, he's got my back. We move as one, we're on the track. Return of the bugger off bunny, steady and strong. We ain't no dummy, setting the pace, bringing the vibe. Feel the rhythm, join the tribe. Through the shadows, through the rain, Wyatt Army feels no pain. Truth and love are guiding light. Bugger off bunny shining bright. With Chris beside, we never fall. Together we answer the freedom call. Return of the bugger off bunny, steady and strong. We ain't no dummy, setting the pace, bringing the vibe. Feel the rhythm, join the tribe. Return of the bugger off bunny, steady and strong. We ain't no dummy, setting the pace, bringing the vibe. Feel the rhythm, join the tribe. Return of the bugger off bunny, steady and strong. We ain't no dummy, setting the pace, bringing the vibe. Feel the rhythm, join the tribe. Return of the bugger off bunny, steady and strong. We ain't no dummy, setting the pace, bringing the vibe. Feel the rhythm, join the tribe.
The Bugger Off Bunny. Return the Bugger Off Bunny here on Radio Afterlife. Let's change pace a little bit here with Afrikaner Sterk. Afrikaner Sterk.
Van die Kaap af het ons gekom, ooswaarts getrek. Oorheersende gesag ontsnap. Ander tegenkom wat westwaarts getrek het. Die groot viesrivier, ons het oorlog
Afrikaner Shtick on Radio Afterlife. To answer your question, Sean Nadia, this is a news program. The news is done. A lot of people tend to leave because they only came for the news. Other people enjoy the camaraderie, the community that takes place here. And since we can produce music that doesn't get bogus copyright claims, we're doing that. And the audience plays a role. That's one I came up with my own. To answer the question about whether that's artificial intelligence, it also is artificial intelligence. I wrote the lyrics in my rudimentary writing ability in Afrikaans. I wrote them down. Then I put them through a translator program to make sure I didn't make any major mistakes. And then I put those lyrics into the song and picked the genre and the music and the vocals. And that's what we got. And that's not the first one. I've done 2 Afrikaans songs. I'm going to do more. Yep. Chased all the competition. All right. See, Mandy's taking off now. All right. So, we did Return of the Bugger Off Bunny. Let me just check something else here. I know people want to hear the Alabama. So here's Stuck in the Groove. This one is... which one is the good one? Okay, I got to see which one's got... Yeah, got to get going. That's Stuck in the Groove. I'm trying to remember which one of these was the better one here. So, which one did I load? That would be the question. Stuck in the Groove. Okay. Then I'll know which one. Because I don't load all of them. I only load the versions I like. Doesn't look like I loaded Stuck in the Groove at all. Oh, there it is. It's that one. Okay. Stuck in the Groove with that record. Okay, there you go. So Stuck in the Groove. Let's see how this one goes. This is about Cyril Ramaphosa. Stuck in the groove. His needle is stuck in the groove. Dirk, all these songs are about your government. This one's about Ramaphosa.
Cyril, your needle is stuck in the groove. Round and round, but you never move. Promises echo like a hollow tune. Under the sun, but we can't see noon. Broken records spin and play.
That song inspired by the African National Congress, Stuck in the Groove. Cyril Needle's just stuck in the groove here on Radio Afterlife. That's right, folks. The news can be depressing. That's why this is the end of the broadcast. For those who hung around, a little reward and treat to relax and enjoy. Now, the next song was inspired by the Mozzies, the mosquitoes in South Africa, driving people nuts even in wintertime, which we found a bit strange. So here you go, folks. On Radio Afterlife, it's Skeeter season.
Buzzing in the moonlight glow, tiny vampires in a row. They dive, they sting, they leave a show. A welting map where love won't grow. I slap the air, they laugh and flee. A battle lost eternally. Skeeter season, can't escape. Let tiny thieves in a cape crusade. Smack 'em down, they rise again. Drain me dry, I can't defend. Skeeter season, endless war. Close the windows, lock the door. Citronella's burning bright, a feeble shield in this fight. Mosquitoes swarm, a haunting sight. Summer's lost to their delight. The spray's a joke, they just don't care. They're everywhere, they're everywhere. Skeeter season, can't escape. They're tiny thieves in a cape crusade. Smack 'em down, they rise again. Drain me dry, I can't defend. Skeeter season, endless war. Close the windows, lock the
Skeeter season. Skeeter season on Radio Afterlife. Let's mix it up one more time here. And this one is Zuid-Afrika, my geboorteplek.
Zuid-Afrika, mijn geboorteplek, mijn tuiste van Zeepunt tot Margate. En punten tussenin, ons is liever ons prachtige thee. Waar ons harten volwassen geword heeft, maar tijd in ons gedraaid. En de stip om te gaan. Zuid-Afrika, mijn geboorteplek, mijn tuiste van Zeepunt tot Margate. En punten tussenin, om te gaan.
There you go, folks. That's a little bit different. That one's just a little bit different there. We've got Cyril the Waffle Man. Cyril the Waffle Man. And then what else we got here? The Mullahs. Mullahs rocking the Tully House. Here you go.
Cyril, why do you love Iran? The whispers louder than the fan, spinning shadows on the floor. Promises break at the core. The Thule house is shaking. The mullah's moves overtaken. Heartbeats lost in Pretoria's haze. South Africans counting the days. Mullahs rocking the Thule house, burning bright where truth is doused. Hearts on fire, but the people cry, dancing shadows under broken skies. Desert hand the cranes, or drowning lies. Do they see the faces, the empty places? Deals in the dark rooms unfold. Whose hands are clean, whose hands hold gold. Pretoria's lights dim and fade. Dreams undone by the choices made. No bread, no jobs, just lines of despair. A party dancing without a care. The music plays, but the pain won't stop. South Africa's tears spill drop by drop. Mullahs rocking the Thule house, burning bright where truth is doused. Hearts on fire, but the people cry, dancing shadows under broken skies. Do they hear the cries, or drowning light? Do they see the faces, the empty places? Do they hear the cries, or drowning lies? Do they see the faces, the empty places?
That's the Mullahs rocking the Tully House. I'm going to play as the outro here. The last thing we're going to do is request for Alabama Heap, and I'm going to play the second version of that country song, both of which were very popular. The one you hear that's posted on Spotify and is available through all the distribution is the first version. This is the second version, same length, and this is also country. All right, Alabama Heat.
Alabama heat melts the road to gold. New faces arrive with stories untold.
The air is thick, but the dreams are wide.
South African hearts crossing the tide. Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat, Alabama heat.
of crime they rise, with courage burning brighter than skies. The past may haunt, but the future sings. Freedom hums on broken wings. Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat. Alabama heat. Humidity hugs like an old ghost, but here they stand. A living toast to freedom's soil, to the promised land. With calloused hands, they take a Alabama heat. Alabama heat.
Alabama Heat, the second version there, folks. Thanks for that. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. We got 865. So for those who are curious about why we do this, look, these topics are heavy on the hearts for a lot of people. Some people can deal with the news. Some people just want to be part of this community. Some people just want to hear what's going on here, analysis. So that's why I've taken this. I didn't have that ability before. I paid for a subscription to the service that allows me to create this music. And the music is inspired by you all and my thoughts. And sometimes you give me the ideas, like the steamed crabs aren't just boiling frogs, and sometimes they come from me. So they all have a purpose, and all of them relate to things going on and people and events out there. So I hope that you enjoy that. If you don't, then you don't have to stay. We still got 400 plus people here at this hour, down from 800. We have 900 plus we had earlier, but that's fine. Plus it's also late. People have to take off. So I do intend to, once we get to a stage where I've got just all this music, I'm going to treat it like a radio program, and I'm going to put something on the screen, and I'm just going to do streams and play the music, and I'll be the DJ in the background. So you won't see me standing here lip syncing or, acting all foolish. It'd be just like a radio program. So yeah. All right. No, Ian, we've done enough songs. It's time to go, man. I got to go. I got stuff to do. Solomon Andre Oosthuizen, thank you. Thank you all so much, and have a lovely evening. Appreciate the gratitude. Some eye candy for the Bormices. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the tip off about the MK trying to introduce that constitutional amendment. I do appreciate that. Everybody be well. Take care of yourself. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. And we'll see you for Night Owls later tonight. All right. Clock is ticking for the Women's World Cup. Be heading there soon. Cheers.